We're following breaking news right now in western North Carolina. Buncombe County officials are giving an update on the status of the county after Helene. Let's listen in.
Barring any unforeseen circumstances, non-potable water that can be used for flushing toilets will be available starting today at all county and city distribution sites. These sites include Estes Elementary School on Overlook Road in Asheville, Sandhill Elementary on Sandhill Road in Asheville, North Windy Ridge Intermediate School in Weaverville, Fairview Elementary School, Charlotte Highway in Fairview, Black Mountain Eagles, NC9 on Black Mountain, Can Creek Middle School, Lower Brush Creek Road in Fletcher, Lester Elementary School, Gilbert Road in Lester, Pat Square Park on Court Plaza, Asheville Middle School, South French Broad Avenue, Linwood Crump, Shiloh Community Center, Shiloh Road, Lucy Herring Elementary, and Oakley Elementary School. All sites will have non-potable water for flushing toilets. Please bring a container for that non-potable water. Chick-fil-A is distributing sandwiches and water at Swannanoa Ingalls at $22.99 US 70, beginning today through Friday. That begins at 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. while supplies last. Again, Chick-fil-A distributing sandwiches at the Swannanoa Ingalls beginning today through Friday, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Oxygen refilling stations are now open at Palmetto Oxygen, 828-285-0235. Palmetto Oxygen, 828-285-0235. Blue Ridge Oxygen, 828-232-1110. Airflow, 888-345-1780. Lincare, 828-255-4545. AccuCare, 828-238-3100. Bradshaw Oxygen, AccuCare, 828-236-3100. Bradshaw Oxygen, 888-380-6297. And East Coast Medical Oxygen, 828-252-7770. I'll repeat those locations again. That's Palmetto Oxygen, Blue Ridge, Aeroflow, Lincare, AccuCare, Bradshaw Oxygen, and East Coast Medical Oxygen. You can have your oxygen refill at those stations. As we work to streamline our efforts for missing persons, rescues, or well checks, please visit www.unitedwaync.org. That's one word, unitedwaync.org. Or you can text person to 40403. This is for missing persons and rescues or well checks. UnitedWayNC.org or text person to 40403. An update for individuals enrolled in Food and Nutrition Services program. You can purchase hot food by using your EBT card. We continue to hear concerns from residents about FEMA. We want to assure you that FEMA assistance are not loans. There are grants that you do not have to pay back. FEMA personnel are out in the community and have branded equipment and badges. FEMA disaster survivor assistance are out in the community today from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. at the Black Mountains Ingalls, AB Tech Conference Center, Pat Square Park, Emma Community Center, New Bridge Baptist Church at 199 Elkwood Avenue, and at the Laundry Used Trailer, the Basilica of St. Lawrence, 97 Haywood Street. Again, FEMA are giving grants, not loans. You do not have to pay these back. FEMA personnel are in their community. They have badges and they have branded equipment so you can recognize them as FEMA disaster survivor teams. And they're in their community today from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. at the Black Mountain Ingalls, AB Tech Conference Center, Pat Square Park, Emma Community Center, New Bridge Baptist Church at Elkwood Avenue, and at a Laundry Used Trailer at the Basilica of St. Lawrence in downtown Haywood Street. Please, if you need help, you can access help at one of these locations. Solid waste services. Tomorrow, Waste Pro will run routes to the extent possible in the Anchor-Candler area for Tuesday customers. They also have a drop-off site at the Leicester Elementary School on Gilbert Road in Leicester. That is from 8:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. We have extended hours at our landfill, open from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday, or 8 to 3 on Saturday. Our permits and inspections office is open and are waiving fees for emergency repair permits. Go to buncombecounty.org/permits. Again, for permits and inspections, we are open and we are waiving fees for emergency repair permits. You can go to buncombecounty.org/permits to learn more. Many people are asking how they can help. You can visit buncombeready.org for donation locations. You can upload photos of adverse conditions such as down trees and block roads and you can do that by going to report.buncombecounty.org. And for questions about storm-related issues, you can call 828-250-6101. Thank you for your time, and I'll turn it over to Corinne Duncan. Did I say something again? All right, I've done this before. So the number to call for questions about storm-related issues is 828-250-6100. That is 6100. Okay, and now we'll hear from Corinne Duncan, Buncombe County Elections Director.
Thank you, Avril. I'm Corinne Duncan. I'm the Director of Elections for Buncombe County, and I'm here to reassure our community that Buncombe County will vote. All of our staff and board members are accounted for, and despite personal hardship, we've been organizing to make sure this community has a voice in choosing the people that represent us both in good times and in tragedy. We are now open from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. to assist you. We have power, but no water. Early voting will begin next week on October 17th. Absentee by mail is happening now, and Election Day will take place on November 5th. Obviously, we no longer have access to the facilities or number of poll workers in our original plans. Our office and equipment were spared. We're working with our emergency team and the State Board of Elections to strategize and modify plans. As we speak, the State Board of Elections is meeting to discuss emergency measures to support the needs of affected counties. A virtual press briefing discussing the changes will be held today at 2 p.m., and you can find that link at ncsbe.gov. Locally, we will hold a board meeting tomorrow at 3 p.m. where we will begin processing absentee ballots and discuss modifications to our early voting plan. That meeting is a public meeting and will be held at 59 Woodfin Place in Asheville. Our phone system is spotty, but improving, so call us if you can. If you're able to access the internet, you can find information on our website at buncombecounty.org/vote, including registration forms and the online absentee by mail request portal. You can also email us with your questions at elections@buncombecounty.org. An important note, the information on our website about early voting and Election Day will be updated as soon as we are able to solidify plans. We are assessing what voting locations are available and working to make contact with our poll workers to train them. Poll workers, if you're hearing this, training is still happening and we still need you. We're working to find ways to contact you. If you can contact us, please do so. If you're available and you are already signed up for training, show up. Absentee by mail is available now. We anticipate an increase in this method of voting and are increasing our capacity to meet that demand. All ballots that have been requested so far have been mailed out. Absentee voting is available to any North Carolinian. To request one, use the online portal or a paper form and do so by October 29th. You can return your ballot by mail, in person, at our office, or at any early voting location. The deadline to return your ballot is Election Day, November 5th by 7:30 p.m. If you have already requested a ballot and need to change the mailing address due to evacuation, contact us. In order to vote, you need to be registered. The registration deadline is this Friday, October 11th. You can get the form online or by visiting us. The same applies to checking your status or finding your sample ballot. You can do so by using the NC Voter Search tool online or by coming to see us. If you need a photo ID for voting, you can also get that for free at our office. We must respect the gravity of our situation. Basic needs come first, recovery is ongoing, and we'll have to be flexible, adapt, and work together, but Buncombe County will have the opportunity to securely vote this election. Thank you.
Now we'll hear from Jessica Silver, Buncombe County Environmental Health.
Good morning. Today I'm going to share an update about well water safety and food service establishments. Your well may have been damaged or flooded, and we highly recommend that flooded or damaged wells be disinfected and sampled prior to using it. A flooded or damaged well must be disinfected. If water went over the top of your well, we consider that flooded. Please go to buncombecounty.org/EH for instructions on how to disinfect your well. Second, after disinfecting your well, you'll want to make sure that you get a water sample. There are 3 ways you can request a water sample. First, you can call 828-250-5016. You can also visit buncombecounty.org/EH and make a water sample application online. You can also visit 30 Valley Street Monday through Friday from 8 to 4 and apply in person. We do ask for patience as we visit homes to collect water samples. We are prioritizing impacted areas amid our high call volume. Once we collect the sample, it does take at least 24 hours to run the sample and receive a result. Environmental health staff are also making visits to food service establishments across the county to make sure they are operating safely. We are working on a way to provide a list of establishments that we have visited. Thank you.
Next, we have Vic Isley, who is with the TDA, to provide an update from their end.
Good morning. I am Vic Isley, President and CEO for Explore Asheville and the Buncombe County Tourism Development Authority. Like the rest of our community, Explore Asheville and the Tourism Development Authority have been heartbroken by the devastating personal, natural, and economic loss from Hurricane Helene that our region has endured over just the last 10 days. And we are very heartened by the gumption, the grit, the sense of community of this people and place. We are keeping our Appalachian community top of mind and in our hearts in the wake of this unprecedented tragedy. Communities across Western North Carolina, including ours, are beginning to recover after this devastating wind, flood, and aftermath of Hurricane Helene. On Thursday, September 26th, Explore Asheville published a travel advisories and sent an email alert to our 2,000 area business partners and media, including referrals to hotels open to accepting restaurants needing to take shelter. Little did any of us know what was to come in the next 24 hours for our deeply rooted creative community. In the early hours following the storm, we took stock of our families and neighbors and checked in on the well-being of our team members. We ceased all paid advertising and promotion by Saturday afternoon. September 28th. We shared information via our social channels of what we could assess at that time. And for the time being, we've urged visitors to love us from afar, encouraging them to donate to help people of Asheville and Buncombe County. Our priority has been and continues to be to care for our residents, workers, and to support the first responders locally and those who have answered the call from all over the country, helping those impacted and addressing the economic and emotional toll at hand. Through this tragedy, the heart of hospitality has been a beacon of light. Restaurant owners cleaned out their walk-in refrigerators and cooked meals for thousands of residents and first responders. Lodging owners and operators without power, water, and very few staff opened rooms for first responders working 24 to 48-hour shifts. Pools were drained for flushing water to maintain operations as best they could. In just the last week, we worked together to solve for sourcing clean linens for first responder rooms, porta potties, and tanker trucks of water to get them operational so they can house more first responders. Our team contacted all groups, conferences, and events through the month of October and encouraged them to rebook Asheville at a later date. We established a clearinghouse for lodging for first responders, linemen, and emergency workers. For first responder organizations or companies providing services, you can now email responderlodging@exploreasheville.com for lodging availability in Buncombe County. When FEMA announced on September 29th that federal disaster assistance was made available to the state of North Carolina, including our county, we shared how to apply for federal funding available to affected individuals, including grants for temporary housing and home repairs, low-cost loans to cover uninsured property losses, and other programs to help individuals and business owners recover from the effects of this disaster. For individuals that need temporary housing or shelter, you can apply for assistance with FEMA. Once your application is approved, they provide a list of FEMA-approved lodging options for you. For more information, please go to disasterassistance.gov. In addition to the North Carolina Works Disaster Unemployment for people in our community, Giving Kitchen and Southern Smoke Foundation provide aid for food service employees. The Meetings Industry Fund and the Search Foundation offer grants for members of the meetings and hospitality industry. There's an application process for each. We are reminding folks that as of October 4th, the U.S. Small Business Administration opened a Small Business Assistance Center with our friends at the Asheville Area Chamber of Commerce at 36 Montford Avenue. The center provides businesses, nonprofits, homeowners, and renters who have been impacted by the storm a place to personally apply for low-cost financial assistance for their recovery. FEMA and SBA will provide much-needed loans, but our small independent business community needs significant grants. We learned from our friends in places like Puerto Rico that federal grants were also made possible for businesses through the EDA and HUD. We aim to work with our local, state, and federal officials to unlock the much-needed resources for our region that will be needed for months to come. We all have a role to play, and together we will provide for our community. And together we are charting a pathway forward. Amid the heartache, there are also rays of light. Just an hour ago, a concert for Carolina was announced featuring Luke Combs, Eric Church, Billy Strings, James Taylor, and friends. It will take place October 26th at the Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte, with all proceeds, including sponsorships, going towards aid relief. Explore Asheville and the Tourism Development Authority has pledged $1 million as presenting sponsor. Millions more will flow back to our communities in need thanks to Luke Combs and Eric Church. We've been humbled and uplifted by the outpouring of care and concern from fellow destinations, travel and hospitality friends around the country. Many of them have faced their own challenges and crises in their communities and are now pledging their aid to our travel and hospitality community. We are heartened by their support, so much so that Explore Asheville, our 501c6 nonprofit, has established the Always Asheville Fund to help our small independent travel and hospitality businesses throughout the county recover from the devastating impacts of the storm. Assisting our small businesses with emergency grants, not loans, will aid in part to sustain this deeply rooted creative community that we all love. To that end, we are transferring $300,000 from our Earned Revenue Fund into the Always Asheville Fund this week. Our friends at Destinations International advised they have pledges of $50,000 to begin. More information about the grant process will be available later this week at exploreasheville.com, Always Asheville Fund. We are also exploring other options for recovery in the near, medium, and long haul. This includes evaluating the status of community capital projects that are currently in the Tourism Product Development Fund and the Legacy Investment from Tourism Fund with our partners at the city, county, and nonprofit partners. Since 2001, we've committed nearly $100 million to 50 community projects, and early indications are that some of them have sustained damage, including the JBL soccer fields and the Asheville Municipal Golf Course, which was just under renovation. We are going to be able partners to help bring community assets back online. Much like we did during the pandemic, we're gathering ways that people outside of Asheville can purchase art and items online to sustain our local businesses. This storm could not have come at a worse time for our community. Peak October revenues carry many of our businesses and therefore many of our residents through to the spring. Travel and hospitality is 20% of Buncombe County's annual economy. Nothing matters for business operations without water flowing, from manufacturing to hospitality, just like us for residents. They and we all need realistic information to be able to make the best decisions for families, team members, and businesses. Based upon our initial research and outreach thus far, we've determined nearly 100 local small business partners are closed for the foreseeable future. We need water flowing to reopen commerce. We need commerce flowing to help sustain our resident population and neighborhoods where and when it's safe to do so. We need commerce to help bring back the vibrancy of this creative community. We are seeing progress, slow as it may be. And while travel may not be possible right now, we are asking the world to keep Asheville in their heart. And when the time is right, we'll be ready to welcome them back with open arms. Until then, we thank them for their love, support, as we begin to rebuild. Our comeback is going to come in stages. Other than water, business infrastructure downtown fared fairly well. In parts of South Asheville, business and residents have power and running water now. Our Asheville Regional Airport is operational. However, places like the River Arts District that took more than 20 years of blood, sweat, and tears from local artists and business people and investment from municipal partners and the Tourism Development Authority, it took just 20 years to destroy a lot, but it did not destroy our spirit. We are checking in with our friends in Black Mountain and Swannanoa, Biltmore Village. We're in constant contact with our team and partners at Biltmore, and we are also in touch with the National Park Service about the Blue Ridge Parkway. In the last 10 days, broken down in tears from exhaustion, grief, and the gravity of it all. And we are witnessing the gumption, the grit, and determination of this deeply rooted community to rise, and we are here for it. I also just want to share one more thing that came over from Mountain BizWorks on the Small Business Rapid Recovery Funding. They just announced in a press release form the WNC Strong Helene Business Recovery Fund made possible through a $7.5 million initial funding from the Golden Leaf Foundation. So check in with Mountain BizWorks for more relief on the way. Thank you.
Thank you. Before we turn to the City of Asheville, I just have a quick statement from Buncombe County Schools.
You've been listening to Buncombe County Leaders Update on the Helene recovery. There are a few key updates. First of all, county leaders addressing FEMA as well, saying those are not loans, those are grants you do not have to pay back. We've had the number scrolling on the screen as well, 1-800-621-3362. We're waiting to hear from North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper in just a moment, along with other state officials. They'll be giving an update on the impact from Helene as well. They'll be live from Fletcher. He is live now. Let's listen in.
Good afternoon, everybody. I have with me today the administrator of FEMA, Deanne Criswell. We also have the dual status commander of Title 10, Brigadier General Charles Morrison. We have the commander of U.S. NORTHCOM, General Greg Gio. We also have our Secretary of Department of Public Safety, Eddie Buffalo, our Secretary of Department of Military and Veterans Affairs, Greer Martin. We also have our Secretary of Department of Public Safety, Eddie Buffalo. I've already recognized you. Our Colonel, Commander of the North Carolina National Guard is with us today, Freddie Johnson. And we also have our Acting Assistant Secretary of Defense, Rebecca Zimmerman, here. There is progress in Western North Carolina toward recovery. We are grateful for the thousands of local, state, and federal officials who are working in a coordinated way to bring relief to the people here who have suffered from an unprecedented, devastating storm. We know that there is much more to do, but we know that the people here are determined and resilient. We're also grateful for communities that have pulled together like never before. We're grateful for the volunteers and the communities of faith who have coordinated their efforts with government officials to make sure that we are reaching the people who need to be reached. Please know that anyone who needs help, we are determined to provide it to them. Right now, we have 1,700 active duty National Guard activated. And one of the purposes of this event today is to talk about the integration of our U.S. Armed Forces with our National Guard, with our FEMA forces who are here on the ground, with our state emergency management and state and local law enforcement officers. We're grateful for the work that has gone on. We know that there is much more to do. We're still opening roads. We're still working to reach communities. We still have search and rescue occurring as we speak. But we know the people of North Carolina and will pull together, and that the people of Western North Carolina will recover from this storm and will work to be more resilient than ever. I'm now going to recognize the administrator of FEMA, Deanne Criswell. Administrator.
Thank you, Governor, and good morning, everybody. I've been here in North Carolina for a week now, a week today. I've visited over a dozen of communities with the governor. I've been side by side with Governor Cooper, talking to mayors, talking to local officials, talking to the local sheriffs, talking to the fire chiefs, and hearing from them, listening to what their needs are to support their community, and to make sure that we are bringing in the resources that are needed. And I want to assure you, as I have told the governor, that we at FEMA and the entire federal family are here to support the needs of these communities and delivering exactly what they want, where they want, and when they need it. I listened to these local officials during these visits to identify what else needed to come in. One of the things we identified was the ability to get commodities from the points of distribution to the front doors, because we knew that there were a number of isolated and limited access communities that were out there. I am so appreciative that my DoD colleagues are here with us today to support us in this critical mission. The Title X forces, as you'll hear from, are augmenting the incredible work that the National Guard has been doing since day one, helping us to truly meet people where they are and bring them these basic needs to help during this response. An event of this size requires significant support, and it requires that support from the entire federal family. I have been coordinating with my counterparts from all of the different departments and agencies to make sure we're bringing in what we need to support this community. I have engaged with their senior leadership, and to date, we have brought in nearly 3,400 federal responders from across the different departments and agencies to North Carolina. This is 20 different departments and agencies bringing in these responders. This is on top of the 1,500 personnel from the Department of Defense that you'll hear from, as well as the thousands that you heard from Governor Cooper, the National Guard, and all of the first responders that have been out in these communities since day one. This is a big team, but this is what is required. I have seen and I have led complex events. This is a complicated event, but let me be clear, FEMA is good at complexity. Our team, we are coordinators, we are collaborators, we are problem solvers, but we are also part of a larger team. And so I am grateful to be surrounded here today by my partners from the Department of Defense, who are so committed to helping us support this mission. And together, we will be here with North Carolinians as long as it takes. And with that, I'll turn it over to General Morrison.
Thank you, ma'am. Today, it's my honor to be the dual status commander, and my role is to ensure unity of effort between our National Guard forces, which the administrator said have been here since before the storm, and now our active duty military forces that have come in to our assistance and to achieve unity of effort. Today, the citizens of North Carolina have a joint task force that's made up of over 3,300 both active duty and National Guard military forces. That includes 918 vehicles and over 41 aircraft. Your North Carolina National Guard continues the efforts that they have had since well before the storm in places here like Asheville and all across western North Carolina. That also includes National Guard from across the 54 states of the Union. Just yesterday, we received 2 more engineered task forces from both Michigan and Virginia to add to that critical need here to our relief efforts. I want to speak to a moment about the active Army integration that has been seamless. Early communication between senior leaders allowed us to make sure that these active duty forces were equipped properly for the mission at hand. Normally, active duty forces are deploying to fight and win our nation's wars, and so we organized for the mission. Task Force Castle, which came right out of Fort Liberty here in North Carolina, arrived in Marion, North Carolina, and with probably 3 or 4 hours of sleep was conducting missions. They are on their 3rd day of missions here in North Carolina doing route clearance and at the same time delivering those commodities that the administrator talked about to places that may not have had access to them before. But what they are finding is progress. They're finding that most places have most of the humanitarian assistance that they need, and in some cases they just needed assistance with donation management. So you have soldiers, both National Guard and active duty alike, helping organize the massive amount of donations from generous people from all across this nation. And at the same time, providing relief as we continue to push humanitarian assistance relief. The 101st Soldiers from Fort Campbell, Kentucky, arrived with infantry squad vehicles. I will liken these to all-terrain vehicles. and they are immediately assisting our FEMA partners with wide area searches to continue to make sure that we have located all individuals and also where we might need to deliver more supplies. We also are having them team up with the North Carolina Department of Agriculture. Commissioner Troxler has provided us with locals who know the people and the terrain to allow us to get into areas that we might not have access so far to this point. Our partnership with the Department of Defense in this status is exactly why the dual status commander was invented after the response to Katrina so many years ago. It allows us to seamlessly integrate all components of the military, both National Guard and active, to achieve that unity of effort in our response to relieve the suffering of our fellow citizens here in Western North Carolina. And I'll be followed by the Commander of the United States Northern Command. Sir?
I'm General Greg Eo. I'd like to thank Governor Cooper, Administrator Criswell, and Brigadier General Morrison. I'd like to acknowledge the tremendous amount of tireless work and effort by thousands of people and hundreds of organizations that are bringing aid to the citizens of North Carolina. As the commander of U.S. NORTHCOM, we're honored to support the state, FEMA, and the dual status commander, Brigadier General Morrison, by providing active duty forces in a number of areas that can fall under his command and control, using the dual status commander role that comes from the President through the Secretary of Defense at the request of Governor Cooper, which allows him uniquely to command and control both state and federal forces at the same time. That will bring the citizens of North Carolina a unity of effort and response where we can provide the types of capabilities that are needed that will fall side by side with the North Carolina National Guard troops under his able and forward-thinking leadership. As General Morrison mentioned, the first wave of response has been helicopters from Fort Liberty, engineering battalion from Fort Liberty, and then also the infantry battalions that are coming in from Fort Campbell, Kentucky. But I should point out that those, and the 101st Airborne, but they are part of the 18th Airborne Corps, the elite unit based out of Fort Liberty that is providing the majority of the 1,500 person Title 10 response. Additionally, we have some Navy helicopters that are working directly for Administrator Criswell and FEMA, and then we have some very capable search and rescue aircraft that are across the border in Tennessee at McGee-Tyson Air National Guard Base that are flying 10-hour sorties a day throughout Western North Carolina, providing search and rescue, medevac, and landing to provide basic medical care and wellness checks throughout the region. I'd like to close by saying it is a tremendous honor for us to support not only Brigadier General Morrison as the commander of these forces, but the state and FEMA in this most important and honorable mission for us, which is to help fellow citizens. Again, thank you very much.
Okay, we'll be glad to take your questions.
Yeah, Governor Cooper, Sean Gallagher, WRAL. You mentioned progress is being made, but we don't have a timeline of when water could be restored for the people here, making it difficult for people to plan how to move forward. What's your expectation for having water restored to Western North Carolina?
Well, that's going to be a community by community event because we had more than 50 water systems throughout Western North Carolina that were impaired or destroyed. Many of them are coming back when the power comes back. So people are getting water a bit at a time. By that I mean that communities are coming on one at a time. We're seeing progress in that. As for Asheville and the places in Buncombe County it serves, it's still going to be a while. There is progress being made, but we don't know yet. We have engineers from the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers who are here working with civil engineers and others to make sure that we are doing everything we can to get water back on all over Western North Carolina. But we don't have a specific timeline on Asheville Buncombe right now. Do you have anything on that?
What do you say to people who are saying, you know, FEMA or the relief is not there to help them yet? Is it coming, or is it just not in all the areas yet?
People who are saying that are misinformed or intentionally providing misinformation. We have thousands of local, state, and federal officials who are working in North Carolina and who are making sure that people have what they need. There are some very isolated communities that they're doing airdrops and working to find temporary ways to get to them. But if you knew what was happening on the ground, you would see that there is a coordinated effort to help people. Already, FEMA has, I think, more than 104,000 people who have registered for assistance. More than $31 million has been distributed. They have 1,700 people in hotel rooms in their temporary shelter program. There's a lot that's happening right now to help people where they're at. We still don't want tourists coming to Western North Carolina right now. We need to preserve roads for the commodities that are coming in, for utility workers, for cell phone workers, for people who are providing medical assistance. There's a lot of work going on to provide, making sure that people are getting their oxygen, making sure they're getting their regular medical supplies. So we don't want people coming right now. There will be some roads that will take quite a while in order to repair, because if you've been to Western North Carolina, you know that some roads are very rugged on a beautiful day with no storm. Roads that have been damaged are going to take a while to repair, but we've already gotten $100 million in beginning emergency response from federal DOT. Our state legislature is going in Wednesday to provide additional funding. So we've got everybody on the ground working to repair these roads.
Absolutely false. We are managing this disaster across 6 states right now. We continue to bring in resources. I had people on the ground before this disaster, before the storm hit this part of Western North Carolina. We have continued to bring in those resources, and it was part of me being here on Monday of last week, working with the governor to identify what additional resources need to be coming in. And if you've been out here and you've seen the air traffic coming in here and moving out into the communities, they are moving supplies, FEMA supplies, but also donated supplies. We have thousands of people on the ground, not just federal, but also our volunteers in the private sector. And frankly, that type of rhetoric is demoralizing to our staff that have left their families to come here and help the people of North Carolina. And we will be here as long as they're needed. Has what had an effect on operations? Oh, the rumor, I mean, what it does is it really affects the morale of our people who are trying so hard to get into communities. But the biggest effect, I would say, is people that have been impacted are afraid to apply for our assistance. Assistance that then they can get a hotel room. They can get reimbursement for some of the costs or damages to their home. If I can't get them to apply, I can't give them the money and the resources that they're eligible for. And we're hearing that people are afraid to apply for the assistance. And so we need them to know. I've heard rumors that if you take our $750 and don't pay it back, we're going to take your home. Absolutely false. The $750 gets you money to help with your medicine or the food you lost in your refrigerator. And then we're going to give additional money for the repairs to your homes and the items that were lost. We're going to help with any rental that they incur or any of the displacement costs if they went and stayed at a hotel. All of that reimbursed. But I can't give it to them if they don't apply. And if people are afraid to apply, then it is hurting them. I really appreciate that question. So we know people have immediate needs right after these storms. And so what we want to do is just push a little bit of money out into the community to help them, again, purchase their medicine. When I went into Walmart the other day and I saw people going in to buy supplies, that's what that money's for. So they can go replace the food, clothing that they lost, and they can just have those first few days of support. But we give additional assistance. We will be able to help them with any costs they incurred if they're renting a place, if they went to a hotel. We will also be able to give them funding and resources, financial resources for repairs to their home. And we will work with them for long-term support if they're going to be out of their home for a long period of time because the damages are so extensive. That's just that initial infusion, which really helps people in those first few days, so needed. And it's actually a new program that we just started, and we didn't have this before. The rest of the funding will continue to come, but again, I need people to apply for that so we can get them the resources they need.
Yeah, so I have a question. Are people still unaccounted for at this point? And if so, how many and in what areas?
So that number is rapidly dwindling as federal and state officials are working to check on reports that have been given to a central place regarding people who may be missing or people they hadn't been able to get in contact with. We know a lot of reunifications have occurred that have not been reported back. We know that a lot of people have finally gotten cell phone service and talked to the people who made the report that hasn't gotten back to us. We should have a good number on that, maybe by the end of the day or tomorrow. The administrator and I were just talking about that, and we'll try to get that number out publicly because I know a lot of people are interested in it, and they should be, because we are checking on every report that we get. There are soldiers and National Guard and emergency management people going door to door, working to try to find people when there is a report that they have not gotten a communication. But that number has dwindled significantly, and we hope to give you that number very soon. I don't have specific information with me on that, and I don't think I have a transportation secretary with me. We will get you that information, Jordan, if you can make sure that we find that out. We've got a little over 500 roads that we are working to clear, and those kinds of roads are prioritized to make sure that we're getting utility crews in, repair crews in, making sure that we can get commodities to people who haven't been reached.